Was a girl running in our group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford Coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look at Buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
On this great Christmas show, it's be our last live show before the holidays, and we're really enjoying this part. We're talking about all the recalls and everything and every, stuff all the things that we're going to see what happens this year. The recalls I'm not even done with yet. I went through the whole first segment, Chuck, and we still got more recalls. But it's the end of the year. They're going to clean their house before it's all over. That's the whole idea, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why it would matter if they recall it now or a week from now. Here, Toyota recalls 1.1 million vehicles over malfunctioning airbag sensors. I don't know if I like that. 1.1 million Toyota and Lexus models are being recalled globally for malfunctioning sensors that could prevent airbags from deploying in a crash. The affected Toyota models go back 2021 to 2020, 21 to 20, 21 to 20, all of these, and even the Lexus models. The subject vehicles have occupation classification system. In other words, sensors in the front passenger seat that could have been improperly manufactured, causing a short circuit. Toyota said in a news release this would not allow the airbag system to properly classify the occupant's weight, and the airbag may not deploy as designed in certain crashes, increasing the risk of injury. Of course, vehicle owners won't be notified until February. But in other words, there's a sensor in the seat. They'll turn that airbag off on the passenger side if there's nobody in that seat. My dash flickers, or not flickers, but it lights up and tells me passenger not there. So no airbag is off. Passenger airbag is off. That's safe. Well, if anybody's interested, and I know I am because I drive one, they make me crazy. Ford generated the most U.S. recalls for the third straight year in a row. Or partial NHTSA data shows. That's bull, they know. For the third year in a row, Ford Motor Company had the most recalls of any U.S. automaker. Partial NHTSA data shows. Through December 18th, Ford issued 54 recalls, affecting nearly 5.7 million vehicles in the U.S. this year. However, that's down 21% from the number of recalls it issued in 2022, when the automaker reported 68 recalls, affecting more than 8.7 million vehicles. Jeez, oh Pete. In 2021, Ford issued 53 recalls, affecting 5.4 million vehicles. General Motors led that year with the highest volume of vehicles and equipment recalled, totaling nearly 8 million that year, according to data. But that's vehicles and equipment, so we'll see. Of the U.S. recalls Ford issued this year, through December 18th, the largest involved a callback of nearly 1.3 older model Fusion and Lincoln MKZ vehicles for rupturing front brake hoses. We told you about this on this show. I've had a couple in my shop. The smallest recall issued in August covered just two 2023 Bronco midsize SUVs over an issue with the transmission that could cause those vehicles to roll away. But there was only two in that whole recall. So that's not worth printing. I'd call those two people up and tell them to come in and we'll fix it. Why would you even print a recall? Why would you mail anything out? Jeez, oh Pete. And the gal's been doing a good job, I think. That's just my opinion. And my opinion is good. My opinion, 15 cents will get you a cup of coffee. Now it's about $1.15 now, isn't it? The acting head of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. These little bells are going to drive me crazy, Charles. Me and my elf hat. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said on Friday she is stepping down from her post after overseeing the agency's investigation into Tesla Inc. Autopilot and efforts to strengthen fuel efficiency regulations. Maybe she's just had enough of picking on Tesla and she's just leaving. Acting NHTSA Administrator Ann Carlson, who has run the agency since September 2022, told employees in an email she will leave her post on December 26 because of a law limiting how long officials can remain as a temporary official. That's a little hard to say. How long officials can remain as a temporary official. Carlson, who was chief counsel at the NHTSA beginning in January 2021, will serve in her former chief counsel role until the end of January before leaving the agency, she added. Now, who are we going to get? NHTSA Deputy Administrator Sophie Schulman will serve as the acting administrator. She previously was Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy at the Transportation Department and also has served at the Energy Department. She's been around. Office of Management and Budget and White House Domestic Policy Council. Jeez. She's been all through the administration. I wonder what her job is, huh? Well, she's going to be the interim of the NHTSA. So we're going to have another gal in charge of that, and that's kind of cool. Well, Chuck, we're done. We're done with the NHTSA. Thank God. It only took a segment and a half. Jeez. All right. Something I predicted, and this is happening, and it's going to stay happening. Nearly half of the Buick's U.S. dealerships left the brand this year after it offered buyouts for those who didn't want to invest in selling electric vehicles. Half the dealerships want no part of this. The General Motors brand on Tuesday said it will end the year with about 1,000 dealerships nationwide, 47% fewer than the start of 2023. Buick offered to buy out retailers who did not want to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars on tooling, equipment, and training to prepare to sell and service EVs, electric vehicles, as the brand goes all electric by the end of the decade. Buick had 1,958 U.S. franchises at the start of this year, according to Automotive News Annual Dealer Consensus. So, oh boy, now we have no more, we have no more dealers.
I think that's the big news is that there was 1,900 Buick dealerships still around.
Yeah, but still.
I don't know who's buying Buicks these days?
Yeah, well, Buick, you know why they kept Buick? Originally, when they got rid of Pontiac and then they got rid of Oldsmobile, they kept Buick because Buick was so popular in China.
And with really old people.
Yeah, and old people. Not me, I bought a Ford.
Right.
Anyway, and I'm a really old people. Anyway, the Buick name tag is big in China, and when they go all electric, it'll be big in China again, because China wants everything to be electric.
Yeah.
But they just keep building coal-fired plants. China doesn't care about the environment.
That's a good point. Did that mention, was that American dealers of the 1,900? Is that American strictly, or is that worldwide?
No, this was just American dealers.
Just America. So we don't know what their Chinese numbers are.
No. They got enough that they sold a lot of Buicks in the last several years.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they keep to selling.
Buick's
number one customer is China.
Somebody's got to buy them.
Okay, exactly. Well, like I said, nobody else cares about the environment. China doesn't care. They'll just build another coal-fired plant. Actually, we're not doing much better. We're digging holes. We're making the planet a mess, tearing things up. I mean, I don't know. U.S. vehicles this year, and this is another thing. Why? Vehicles set the best gas mileage in the history of automotive. Vehicles were up 0.6 miles per gallon over 2021 after being unchanged versus 2022 or 2020, the EPA said, noting electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids, EVs, improved the average fuel economy by 1.2 miles per gallon in 2022. Fuel economy is forecast to increase to 26.9 in 2023 when they get done running all the numbers. The EPA administrator, Michael Reagan, said the report highlights the historic progress made so far by the industry to reduce climate pollution and other harmful emissions. I don't think that's what that shows. The report showed Tesla sold additional emissions credits and General Motors and Mercedes-Benz purchased credits in 2022. Automakers use credits to meet the requirements. This is just strictly a political thing. You could have the worst gas guzzlers in the world. You buy all the Tesla's credits because they don't have any gas, and you could have the biggest pig-eating, pig-drinking gasoline cars out there, and it wouldn't matter because you have credits from Tesla that they don't use any gas. Stellantis had the lowest fuel economy of major automakers. That's Chrysler for you. They always do. Followed by GM and Ford. Well, gee, what happened to the Japanese aren't in there anywhere? Horsepower, this is according to horsepower, vehicle weight, and size all hit new records in 2022 and are projected to hit again record levels in 23. The EPA and EVs plug-in hybrid and fuel cell production rose 7% in 22 and are projected to hit 12% in 23. Average range of EVs rose to a new high of 305 miles. Well, we can almost go to Grandma's house, Chuck. More than 4 times the 2011 range. Well, the 2011 range was around the block, wasn't it? I don't think the 2011 range was very far. Well, it's 4 times. Oh, good. The report showed Americans keep moving away from cars and are buying more SUVs, sedans, and wagons. Well, then they are. I mean, they don't understand. This is not going to wash. This is not coming. The electric vehicle is not coming to save you. I mean, when they're all done digging up your backyard and you got a mess in your neighborhood and you got these cars sitting on the side of the road that have no place to charge because our infrastructure is blowed up, it's not going to happen. Why do they keep talking like, oh, we're really moving forward on this electric vehicle thing? Yeah, you're moving forward, all right. Right up the horse's patootie. That's what you're doing. I got to tell you, we've been talking about all these things that are coming up, and we haven't once said anything about Christmas this year. Chuck, if you were to get a big Christmas present from the guru of automotives, what would be the main thing you'd like to see happen?
I'd like a Cybertruck in my driveway.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, I would have said that, but he took it. No, I would have said that anyway. I want a Cybertruck. I think they're cool. A lot of people don't, but I think they're cool. I want to see hydrogen, fuel cell, and alternative fuels and fuel usage, gas mileage, all get the same kind of money that electricity got from these guys. That your big money boys with the electricity push, I want to see the billions that the government gave them. Okay. I want to see this administration crawl into bed to really make this country clean, not just pay off some electric guys, not to keep the coffers full over there on the electric side, because it's not going to go. It's already slowing down. It's already going down the chute. We need to get hydrogen developed, fuel cells developed, alternative fuels, and gasoline economy. We get the gasoline economy up where it's really good, you won't be putting anything out the tailpipe. Alternative fuels, you're not going to put anything out the tailpipe. Hydrogen, a full hydrogen engine, puts 0 out the tailpipe. And a hybrid has got a battery cell plus the hydrogen motor. You're not going to do it. You're not going to pollute. And plus the battery cell, you're going to have a hole dug in the ground, but it's beside the point. I want to see the government of this country spend as much money on the rest of the development of these vehicles as this, because this is not going to make it. This is going to be a part of your life if you want it to be. If you want an electric car, they're going to sell you one. If you don't want an electric car, they're not going to make you buy one. They just won't. I mean, we threw the tea in the harbor one last time before. We'll do it again. You can't do this. You can't tell people what they can buy and what they can't, what they can spend their good money on that they work for every day. You can't tell people that. That's my money. I'm going to spend it the way I want. whether Chuck likes it or not.
Yeah, I said that about my health care about 10 years ago, and that didn't work out so well.
That's another good one.
Yeah. So, but again, I mean, that goes back to the point, though, is that you know, I don't disagree with you, but at the end of the day, you have a very apathetic voter pool that kind of just goes along with whatever they're told.
Whatever they're told, exactly, and I'm sick of it. You can't have this anymore. That's not what America was founded on. Individual liberties and choices and freedoms. This is what's important to the car world. The car world has always catered to the people. The people haven't catered to the car world. The car world caters to us. They make us fall in love with their cars. That's the whole idea. These buzzers, these bells. You got to see Chuck's hat. Come on, come around here, Chuck.
We got to do it. I don't know how I got to push buttons here, but
you can stick your head around the button.
We'll figure it out.
All right.
So there
He's
were.
Shy.
Why don't we do a couple? So here's what I wanted to do for the last segment. I want to do for the next segment. We'll do a whole thing about. It'll be all strange stories, and then you'll pick the strange story that you like the best. There's
strange story of the year.
Yeah, well, just of the week. There'll be a whole bunch of them.
Okay, that'll be fine.
So if we're going to talk about these things, so there's a couple of EV stories that came up that I wanted to mention, because as we talk about the debate here in the United States, Canada earlier this week released the final regulations mandating that all passenger cars, SUVs, crossovers, and light trucks sold by 2035 must be zero emission. This is all of Canada. 2035, just like California.
But you see, they leave an opening for themselves. Zero emission. They're not saying they have to be electric.
Well, but they also, the new rule is also known as the Electric Vehicle Availability Standard. So, I mean, the assumption is this is EV. In the quote, they said zero emission vehicles are an essential component to Canada's low carbon future. So they're saying EV, but it's also zero emission. So that
you can get zero emissions out of a hydrogen car.
Right.
You can get it out of a hybrid. Alternative fuels. They've got those alternative fuels down to where they're putting out less than 1% carbon monoxide. I mean, they're actually coming along. You go up just another little bit, and you're going to have an emissions-free vehicle that runs on fuel.
Right.
It's going to be alternative fuel.
It also says that these rules are similar to California's that is requiring 100% to be plug-in hybrid, EV, or hydrogen fuel cell. So, I mean, there is that window there for hydrogen fuel cell, but again, you need a massive adoption of the ability to refuel them.
Well, the thing is, we have seen no push for hydrogen vehicles.
Right. So government ultimately chooses the winners and the losers.
Exactly. The government is steering us towards their vehicle.
EV and not hydrogen, right.
You have to buy this electric vehicle because we're not going to let you buy a hydrogen. Right.